Hello, thank you for stopping by. It is my favorite time of the month. Once again, time to play my TBR game, tic-tac-TBR. If this is your first time playing the game with me, a brief rundown of the rules is that I put 9 random prompts into a 3x3 grid, and then throughout the month I try and read books that are going to fulfill those prompts in order to get myself 3 in a row. And for every 3 in a row I get a reward that's going to make things easier for me the next month. So it's not a set TBR, it's just a fun little game. And then if I'm doing too well, I have to add a challenge prompt, which is a book from my 30x30 list. And if you want to play along in the comments, you're welcome to. Let me know what you read last month, what you're gonna read this month. And if you want to play the game on your own, you can save a copy of the Google Sheets template that I have linked in the comments or in the description, and you save it to your own drive. You can adjust the prompts to suit your own reading tastes and play your own game. And I think that's the rules. So let's talk about what happened in March. So the prompts for March were as follows: a book by a Black author, a book from Libby, a book under 300 pages, a book 500 or more pages, Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, that was my challenge prompt, a science fiction book, a climate fiction book, a book with flora on the cover, and a fantasy book. And I had 2 rewards. One of them was to double up, so I could use one book for 2 prompts, and a readathon reward. So if I read a book for a readathon, I could use that book for any prompt, even if it doesn't actually fulfill the prompt. So let's talk about it. I read so much in March for Squash That series. It was honestly a little bit of a blur. First, I fulfilled the under 300 pages prompt with Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This book, it's like 250 pages, so that fits the prompt. Then I fulfilled the flora on the cover prompt when I read Every Heart a Doorway by Sean McGuire. There's a lot of grass and trees and stuff on the cover of that. Then I fulfilled the fantasy prompt when I read Down Among the Sticks and Bones, also by Sean McGuire. It's a fantasy book. Then I fulfilled the sci-fi prompt when I read To Be Taught If Fortunate, which is a sci-fi book. Then I actually read a 500+ page book, which is East of Eden. I finished East of Eden this month. I read the whole thing. I really loved it. So that was great. Then for a book I got from Libby, I read The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nevo, which is another really short fantasy book. And then finally, on the very last day of the month, I read Mrs. Dalloway. I did it. And I honestly, Bailey, this one's for you. I did this for you. I ended up really liking the book, but yeah, we had to get that out of there. You know what I mean? So I read Mrs. Dalloway. So that leaves us with 2 open spots. And because I had that readathon reward, I'm just gonna go ahead and slot Beneath the Sugar Sky, which was the first book I read for Squash That series, in for climate fiction. And then that's it. So I almost filled my whole board. I hate when it comes so close like this, but yeah, March was honestly a blur. What's done is done. And even though I didn't actually complete the entire board, I still got more than 3 in a rows. So I'm going to add another 30x30 challenge prompt. I read 2 of my 30x30 books last month, so that's great. Let's throw something else on there. And I'm gonna put it in the climate fiction spot on the board because that was the last one that I decided to fill. Usually it's the last book that I read, but I really don't want it to be in the middle again, okay? So we're gonna put it in climate fiction, and I'm gonna save my double up. We have a double up for April. Okay, so that's March, that's what happened, that's in the past. Now let's move on to April. I do have a couple of things on my mind for April. I am participating in Realmathon, but I'm not gonna be trying that hard. I'm keeping the pressure low, and I'm just going to submit whatever books I can submit. The prompts are pretty wide open, so I feel like any book I read, I'll be able to get some points or steal some points or whatever. So that's that. Other than that, I do have a couple of buddy reads and my book club book that I'm going to try to get to fit some of the prompts, but we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. All right, now let's generate our April prompts. I have shuffled my prompt list, which has 77 prompts, and I've also shuffled the 17 30x30 books I have left to read. So let's pick that one first. There are some really long books on this list and some really short ones. Oh, Pilgrim at Tinker Creek by Annie Dillard. This is a short one, so that's a delight. and I could certainly find myself reading that this month. It is a nonfiction, I believe, so it would fit in with my Realmathon team. I'm on team, or in the Ilma realm, I think. The science fiction, nonfiction realm is the one that I picked, so that would fit nicely. And now we are ready to pick some prompts. Okay, our first prompt is library physical. This is one of my newer prompts, which just means a library book that I got from the library physically instead of an ebook from Libby, which is what I mostly use my library for, but I have been getting physical library books more recently. And okay, sorry if things moved. I had to take a quick break, but I'm back now and I'm ready to talk about some physical library options. So first of all, I have Homesick by Jennifer Croft already in my hands, not in my hands, but in my house, which is a book that was nominated for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and I am trying to read the shortlist this year. So that book is on the long list, and it was available, so I just grabbed it. Most of the long list books do sound really good, so I'm just reading whatever I can get my hands on whenever I can get it for now. And then I also am hoping to have in my hands from the library The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, which I'm buddy reading with a whole bunch of friends. I don't remember who's doing that one, but that's gonna happen in April. So those are two books that I'm going to have a physical copy from my library that I'll be reading. So let's pick the next prompt, shall we? 29 is Connor's pick. So I guess for this one, I will just say, Connor, please pick my next book, and then Connor will pick it. I don't know if I'll probably give them some options. I'll say like, pick from these books. And a likely candidate for that will be my like travel book, because I am going to be visiting my family at the end of the month. It is my grandma's 90th birthday, so I'm going to fly home to celebrate that with everybody, and I will probably ask Connor to pick me a book for that trip. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, next prompt. 300 to 400 pages. Love that one. So easy. Can definitely do it. Most of the books that I read fall within that range, so not worried. Not going to talk about it. Next. Ooh, an adaptation. This is a book that has been adapted into film or TV. I can't think of anything offhand. What's happening? Okay, this is interesting. I could read Wool. I forget who it's by, but it's a science fiction series. That's the first book. It's called Wool, and it is being adapted. It's going to be on Apple TV, which I actually don't have, but I heard that they were adapting it into, I didn't know who was adapting it, but I heard it was being adapted ages ago, and I picked up a copy of it at a used bookstore, and then it just sat on my shelf. I never wanted to pick it up. It was too floppy for me, so I just like never wanted to hold it. So eventually I just gave it away, but I do think that it is somebody's favorite for the Realmathon prompt, like read a team lead's favorite. I feel like it's somebody's favorite, and it is science fiction, which fits into my team genre prompt. So I might just take that out from the library and maybe I'll try the audiobook or something. That'll be fun. Okay, our next prompt. Finally, I'm getting to put something new in the middle square. A gender nonconforming author. This is great because there is another readathon happening, Trans Girl April, in which you read trans books. So I don't have anything pre-picked out for that, but I will be taking a gander. Again, I don't know how much reading I'm gonna be able to get done in April, so I'm making a lot of promises right now. So I would love to be able to get to some books by trans authors, but I don't know if I will, and I don't know what they'll be. So if you have any recommendations, you know where to leave them. Okay, our next prompt is an audiobook. Love that, so easy, can definitely do it. I love to have an audiobook on deck. So I don't think I have anything right now, but I do know I have a couple of audiobook holds for those Women Prize selections, so maybe I'll get one of those in and I can listen to that. Okay, our next prompt is a pink cover. Oh my gosh, Danielle from Danielle Reads is reading mostly pink books this year. I don't think I have any pink covers on my shelf or on my brain, but I will definitely keep an eye out. Danielle, let me know if you have any pink books that we could read together this month. And our final prompt is a readathon prompt. Oh, that's amazing. So any book that I read for Realmathon or Transgirl April could count for that. And that's great. Okay, so that's my board for April. I'm excited to get reading. I'm excited to have a new challenge prompt on the board. And yeah, and I have one double up. So one of the books that I read, I can count for 2 prompts in April. That's what's up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for watching. I would again love to have some suggestions for some of these prompts, and I'd love to know what you're gonna read for the month of April. And if you're on Team Ilma, I'll see you in the chat. And if you're not, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your month, and I'll see you next time. Bye.